Hi guys, it's Misty. Welcome back to another card video. I'm here again to share my design team project for this week's Simon Says Stamp Wednesday challenge. Our theme is Halloween and we are showcasing products from my favorite things. So I'm going to start out on some Bristol Smooth cardstock and I'm going to ink blend Squeezed Lemonade and Barn Door. And I really like these two colors together. I love the color that you get in between when you mix the two colors together. So you have your bright yellow on the bottom or on one end and then this beautiful red on the top, and you get this really pretty kind of peachy orange color in the middle when you blend the two colors together. So I really liked this color combo. And I went over it multiple times to get that nice deep bold color. Obviously you can do it as light as you want, but with Distress Oxides, I just love getting that deep color, and it kind of has the chalky look to it that Distress Oxides are known for, and I really love it. It's kind of a different look. So all right, and now I'm going to color my images with my Copic markers, and I'm just going to leave a little bit of the Copic coloring in like I usually do. I'm not going to list all the colors that I use because I'm not going to color everything here. So if you want a complete list of the colors that I used for all the images, then head on over to my blog for that. And before I forget, I just want to say thank you to those who responded to my post on YouTube. I asked for some video ideas. I love doing the card videos, but I don't know. I like doing other kind of videos here and there every once in a while too. So I got some really good suggestions from you guys, and hopefully I will start working on those soon. I gotta learn Premiere Pro, my editing program here, a little bit better. I want to do multiple camera angles, and I gotta figure out how to do that. So I'm working on it. But if you guys are watching this and you have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments below because I'd love to hear what your suggestions are. I know one of them that was requested is to share with you how I photograph my cards, and while it's not a pretty process, I'm definitely going to share that with you. So that will hopefully be coming soon. All right, so I'm going to wrap up my Copic coloring here, and then this card went together really easy. I'm all about quick and easy cards. I just don't have the time that I would like to have to make cards, so the quicker I can get it put together, the better. So I don't want to spend all day, and I used to spend an entire day to make a card. I am not the quickest crafter, and I'm very indecisive. I still rely on my husband quite a bit to help me make decisions, but pretty much on every card, he still helps me. On some level, he helps me make decisions, but yeah, the sooner I can get a card made and out, the better. You know, I figure when my son is out of school and out of the house, then I can spend all day in the craft room if I want. But right now, I'm trying to balance card making and family time and pet time and me time. Gotta add some me time in there. So that's what's up with the quick and easy cards lately. But I feel most people have to balance the same thing. So I would think that the quick and easy cards are what people would be interested. At least that's what I would be interested in. So my cards aren't elaborate. They shouldn't take a long time to make. Yeah, they're just quick and easy cards. All right, I'm going to wrap up my Copic coloring here. I sure would like to take a Copic coloring class again. If you guys are ever wanting to improve your Copic coloring skills or your colored pencil skills, Kit and Clowder has a really awesome coloring class that you pay for monthly, and she walks you through the whole process. So it's a really great class. So someday, again, when my kid's out of the house and moved on, then I'll make time for stuff like that. Moving on to my favorite stencil right now is this Tim Holtz stencil that was part of the Stamptember, not the Stamptember release by Simon Says Stamp. This is one of the collaborations, and so unfortunately it's no longer available, but there is a stencil that is very similar to this. And it's Simon Says Stamp sells it. It's called Hocus Pocus. So this stencil came with a stamp set, but you can purchase a stencil very similar to this and I'll have a link to that stencil in the video description below. So I'm going to use some Nuvo Moonstone Glimmer paste, and I probably should have taped off that top corner. If you're really careful and you know you're paying attention to where your paste is going, then you can not tape it off, but I should have taped it off because I don't know how I didn't get it up in that top right corner or even down in the lower right corner. So I covered up the bottom part of the stencil with a piece of paper, but there's still, you know, it's better just to be safe than sorry, and I should have covered those two areas up. But it all worked out in the end. So I'm just going to scrape off what I don't need. I want it to be nice and flat, not too thick. And I did use the Pixie spray on the back of my stencil. And the removable tape is what I put on the back of my card just so it wouldn't go anywhere. I know I've said this before, but I love the Moonstone Glimmer Paste over Distress Oxide inks. It's just so pretty. Now, I thought I wanted, so I'm using just black soot Distress ink. This isn't the Oxide, this is just the Distress. And I thought I only wanted to splatter the top portion. And I really wish I would have did a side angle of how this splatter brush works, because again, if I can figure out the multiple camera angles, then you'd be able to see stuff like that. But next time I use it, hopefully I'll remember to show a side view of that, because it's really easy to use. But I thought I only wanted it in the upper portion, but once I removed my cover there, I decided I wanted it down in the yellow part of the background as well. So it was just an easy fix. And if you don't have the splatter brush, you can use a paintbrush. That's what I used to use as a paintbrush, but I just like having control with the splatter brush. It seems like you have more control. But look how pretty that turned out. And you see kind of the oxidized look in you can see it more in the red there. But it's just got that kind of oxidized look, and I love it. And then the black, when it dries, is kind of a matte finish. Looks really cool. Look how cute these little haunted houses are with the ghosts popping out of the window. I love it. It's part of the same stamp set by My Favorite Things, the Best Witches stamp set. I hope I said that in the beginning, that the images were from Best Witches. But anyway, so I wanted to use this die by Impression Obsession. It's called Haunted Hill, but I wanted to use the cute little houses with the ghosts in the window from My Favorite Things. So you saw what I just did. I just cut out the house that came on the die, and then I'm going to replace it with the houses that I Copic colored. Now, normally I would have glued this in place first and then trimmed it down to size. But at this point, I wasn't sure if I was going to pop it up on craft foam. I decided not to. I thought it would be cool because it would, you know, you'd kind of see a shadow behind it. But with the tree branches being as thin as they are, and like my little crosses, I just thought, you know, it would be next to impossible to hide foam tape behind the tree branches. I'm using my wire paper trimmer here, which I don't use that often anymore, because there's measurements on the right side of the blade, and I wanted to make sure I was going to get it cut straight. Well, not even necessarily the measurements, it was just the lines on the right side of the blade, so I could line my paper up with the line and know that I was getting a straight cut. And see, I needed to make sure I was going to have enough room to do my sentiment at the bottom there too. Or I could have just glued it in place and trimmed it down after the fact with my scissors, but that would have been too easy. Next, I'm going to heat emboss my sentiment with white embossing powder. And I'm going to make sure I use plenty of the anti-static powder, which I had to go back and watch this to make sure I did use it, because you'll see what happens here in a second. I don't know if this could happen, because if your paper's damp, I mean, I live on the coast, so I know everything rusts here really easily, and I don't know. I don't know why I used the anti-static powder. You saw me use it, but there's still powder going everywhere on this one, and that doesn't usually happen. So I still don't know why it happened on this one, but I just kept flicking and tapping and wiping, and eventually I got most of it off. This is where those really small paintbrushes come in handy. I'll wipe away the embossing powder that you don't want. That's the only thing I can think, unless, because there wasn't like finger, you know, sometimes if you have oil on your fingers, it'll leave a fingerprint when you put the powder on, but it wasn't doing that, but it was just sticking everywhere, and I wish I knew why. Maybe I just didn't use enough of the anti-static powder. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I guess it'll forever be a mystery. All right, now that my embossing powder is melted, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting everything together. I just took a pencil and just drew a line underneath where my houses were, so I'd know right where to place them. I'm gonna use my Gina K Connect glue and glue those houses in place. And the pencil marks will be hidden behind that bottom die there, the hillside die. Now I did glue these right over the top of some of those stars that I created with that stencil, but it was fine. It stuck fine. I was worried with it having a little bit of dimension there that maybe my houses wouldn't stick well, or that, you know, they'd look kind of bumpy, but they didn't. And I decided to use the Nuvo Smooth Precision glue pen for the top portion of this die just because it's so thin, and that's what that glue pen is perfect for. And then I went back to the Gina K Connect glue for the wider part of the die. And normally I like to have a border around my card front. So like for this one, I would have done a black border. I don't know, it just makes the whole card front pop out a little bit more. But I really wanted that haunted hill die at the bottom. I wanted the entire tree in my scene, and I wanted the cat in my scene too. And I didn't want to have to cut any of it off. So I just decided not to do a border on this one. I do on the inside, I'll have the black border, but yeah, I just decided to skip the border on this one. But I do love the way it makes it pop, though. And I didn't have any dimension on my card yet, so I just decided to pop up my little witch with some foam squares. I used both the large and the small foam squares on that. And I'm not sure why I rounded the corners now instead of after I glued it to my card base, because normally I'd glue it to my card base and then round the corners together. So I don't know what I was thinking. But I just went ahead and rounded the top two corners, and I'm going to glue it to a top folding black card base. And then to finish off the card, I'm going to go over some areas with the Nuvo AQUA shimmer pen. And I tend to do overkill with this pen because I love how this pen looks, especially on black. It looks really cool on black cardstock. So I decided to go over the whole tree with it and the little bats as well. And I think I went over the pumpkin too. I could have went over the whole black section of this, but I refrained. But it looks really cool. And then for the inside, I just used the Trick or Treat stamp set by Simon Says Stamp and used the same colors to do some ink blending. And that is it for me this week. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked this video. All of the supplies that I used will be listed and linked in the video description below. And I'll also have it over on my blog because sometimes it doesn't fit in the video description. But head over there for my Copic color choices and how to enter the challenge and just more information on this card. If you like this video, please click on the like button. And if you want to see more of my videos, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.